Hi everyone, this is Dima with Variable Traders, and I would like to do a trading recap for you. This morning, I decided to give PLTR one last chance before I put it into my do not trade list forever. I used to trade really nicely, and then it sort of turned psychotic with wicks and stopping you out, and just not very nice to trade at all. But today it had a catalyst, huge news, a big contract, so I thought this should work out, and it actually did. So as the market opened, I was hoping to see a 5-minute open range breakout on the 5-minute chart, and it didn't. It actually sold off in the first 5 minutes here. So plan B usually when that happens for me, if I want to go long, is to wait for hopefully an engulfing 5-minute candle next. And that's exactly what happened. So here's the second 5-minute candle engulfing the first 5-minute candle. And now the rule is the breakout happens at the body of that second candle. But if you've seen any of my recaps previously, you know I like to see the ABCD pattern on the 1-minute chart as well to make it an A plus. And that's what happened here. There's the AB igniting right here, the C, which is the pullback into the 9 moving average, and then the D, it goes. But if you notice here, it's really hard to see. I actually took it a bit too soon. This hammer that I like to see did not pull back all the way to the 9 moving average. So then I decided to take the next 1-minute high. But my finger was on the trigger. If this 1-minute candle was going to go lower than the one previous, I was going to get out. And I did. It's hard to see here. But this is an actual full trade at just break even. And then I decided that I'm going to wait for a new minute high, which I got right here, corresponds with the break of the body of that second engulfing 5-minute candle, and off it went. And if you notice here, I partialed at 2R. This is something new I'm going to talk about shortly. I've always partialed at 1R, but I've been trading for a year officially last week, so I decided to make few changes. And one of them was to take a trade, my first partial at 2R, which was very hard to do, but I did it. And then it rejected really fast. So I think we were done for this move anyway. And then the next candle also rejected and came back. So if I decided that if it was going to make a new 1-minute low, I was going to get all out. And that's exactly what happened. I had sort of ascending, sorry, it's right here. The volume was above average, and I was happy with everything here. Except I decided that I am going to take it again because I sort of felt FOMO when it was going up here, but it didn't make a new high. And then decided right here that I'm going to take it on an ABCD pattern right here, except there was no volume. So I don't know why I took it. Here was my stop, and I got out too soon. And then I decided that, oh, this is the ABCD pattern. Which also did not have volume. I took it in and got out. Both of those were half risked, and I got out before the stop out. So it didn't actually, I was still green because the first trade was full risk. So I wasn't happy with myself, but at least I took it at half risk and ended the day a small green, which I was okay with. So going back, last week, April 1st, was my first year anniversary trading live and full-time. So I thought quickly, I don't want to make this video too long, tell you about the top 10 things that I learned and that helped me become a better trader and helped me learn faster. Number one is trading in the simulator, and I'm going to sound like a hypocrite. I traded in the simulator for 2 months, but I strongly recommend for anyone who's starting trading to trade in the simulator for at least 6 months. Because number one, the first 6 months of trading were the most expensive for me at least. Second, it's going to take you a month to learn the platform you're using, but it's going to take you about 3, 4, maybe 5 months to master your strategies. and then you're ready after 6 months to only deal with um, the psychology and the emotional regulation, and you don't have to worry about the platform or the strategy. Number two, that I learned really early on that there's two trading sins: removing the stop loss and averaging down. Of course, I did that when I first started, but quickly realized this is a bad idea. And I was losing money for the first 8 months of trading. And the only reason I survived was because I respected my stop loss and I didn't average down after the first couple of months. Number three is journaling. Journaling is just basically what professional traders do. So you have to journal, and it's boring. And sometimes, especially for me, I keep adding a new component to my journaling every month. It was becoming this big chore. But when I really struggled in February and went back and checked all my charts, I found all my answers there. So you have to um, make yourself journal every trade and every day, because you will not know what to fix if you don't know the problem. Number four is the VPA, volume price analysis. Thanks to Thor and his classes, it's amazing how, there's patterns and criterias. We all trade, but if the volume doesn't support that, throw that in the garbage. Learning volume, and volume is the newest big thing that I learned. I've only been learning it for the last 6 months and feeling more comfortable, I'd say, in the last 2 months. And if you notice, all my recaps usually talk about volume. It is paramount. You have to understand it, and you have to know how it works in conjunction with your strategy. Number five is 1 to 2 strategy. I was really, really lucky to be part of the PCT boot camp, where they really didn't allow us to have more than 2 strategies. So then I had to get rid of all these other strategies that I wasn't good at anyway, and focused on the 5-minute ORB and the ABCD. And then later on, becoming so comfortable with them that I combined them together, as you saw with PLTR. So it is so important to focus on 1 or 2 strategies. It just speeds up your learning curve, because you're giving more of your energy and time to those 2 strategies. And then once you get better, you can learn more strategies after that. Number 6, hiding my P&L. That happened about 4th or 5th month after I started trading, and that made a huge difference with my emotional trading. I still peaked. When I peaked, I made emotional decisions, but it really helped not to see that all the time. And then number 7, once you have confidence in your strategy, spend the rest of your learning time on psychology and emotional regulation, and anticipating all these feelings and focusing on them, because that's the part that I think we're going to keep working on, that we're going to work on mastering forever. The strategy, I don't need to learn about ORB anymore. I'm just looking at it. I tweak it here and there as the market conditions change. But mastering myself, I think, will be a lifetime worth of learning. And then number 8, partialing at 1R. So I just want to say that partialing at 1R really helped me with my confidence in my strategies. Because I partialed so early, my success rate on the strategies were really high. I mean, people were looking for 50 to 60%, and even at 40% success, you could still, in the long term, make money. But with the 1R partialing, my success rate was between 68 to 75%. I was really happy with that. But of course, I wasn't making enough money, or not enough money. I wasn't making a lot of money, which was fine, because at that time now I know that then I needed more confidence in my strategy. So it's time. After a year of doing this, I am going to start partialing at 2R, which will be a whole mental thing I have to get used to. And then number 9, after getting really comfortable with my strategies, the last few months, I would say maybe from the beginning of the year, I narrowed down my emotional issues. So I have 3 major emotions that I go through. you have to kind of dig deep to see what's going on. And the three emotions I have are impatience, anxiety, and greed. So I am impatient, and that's why I force the trades, because I want to be part of the action. Once I'm in the trade, then I have anxiety because I want it to be green. I don't want my sample set to be affected, or my P&L and all that. If I get stopped out, then that's the end of that. And if I partial, then I have the greed to deal with, either not wanting to partial because I want to make more money later, or once I partial at 25% and I have the 75% unrealized, I become so protective of it and wanting to get all out because I want that money. I don't want to lose it. So then once I'm aware, I haven't mastered those three things, but it really helps to be aware of my impatience, anxiety, and greed while I'm trading. And number 10 is focusing on one item, to improve at a time. So I started in June, tracking my violation and making a list. And in the beginning, I was like, wow, I'm really not good at this. I break so many rules. But then a pattern emerged, and it was like these top three things every month I would focus on. So, for example, one thing I really struggled with is I would always go long, but against the resistance, meaning moving averages and VWAP. So then I focused on that for a whole week. It didn't matter what mistakes I made as long as I did not go against the resistance. And then volume, all of March, I focused on the volume, because every time I didn't make sure the volume supports my theory and my strategy, the stock or the trade would be red. So this wasn't a week, focusing on it for a week. It was the whole month. So just focus on one thing at a time, just same as focusing on the strategies. And then this is the 10 things, with the obvious thing being the community, like being part of Bearable Traders, not only the classes and the webinars. And this is not a sales pitch. It's just something that I truly feel passionate about, because being part of a community, not only the support and the classes and the education, but being up to date on what's going on with GameStop or Tesla or Apple. You can't really be, you won't have time to be checking the news on everything that's what's going on. So then in the pre-market show or in the chat, we go on what's the current events and what's happening in the market. That's amazing, I think. And it's really hard to do it all by yourself. And yeah, so that's it for me. Things I'm going to work on in the next year is I really have a hard time with big picture. Sometimes, for example, the market is crashing and I'm trying to go long. So I seem to get involved in the details and not the picture. And I'm still not very good at losing well. It still affects me emotionally, and I have to work on that. And other than that, I'll leave you with one last thought. Sorry, this video is so long. Is that when you're trading, when you are new at trading, a trading mindset doesn't happen automatically. It takes time to develop. And you cannot learn this anywhere else but trading. So just be patient with yourself and be kind to yourself. And I promise, if you persist, it will come. Thank you so much. Have a great day.